Welcome to Metro Exodus. An epic, story-driven shooter set in post-apocalyptic Russia that blends ferocious combat with exploration, survival, and stealth. "5 years in the making, it is developer 4A Games' most ambitious work yet. For newcomers to this incredible world, this video explores what makes Metro such a unique, compelling experience. The year is 2036, a quarter century after nuclear war devastated the Earth. The few thousand survivors cling to existence beneath the ruins of Moscow, in the tunnels of the Metro. They believed the Earth was a poisoned wasteland.
There's only Metro, nothing else.
But they were wrong. As Artyom, you must flee the Metro and lead a band of Spartan Rangers on an incredible, continent-spanning journey across post-apocalyptic Russia. This gripping story, packed with memorable characters, takes place over an entire calendar year, through the changing seasons, from spring, summer, and autumn, to the depths of nuclear winter. Metro Exodus takes the cinematic, narrative-driven gameplay of the previous Metro games and introduces huge open environments that deliver a brand new experience. The core gameplay pillars that support this bold new design are combat, exploration, and survival. Metro offers thrilling and varied combat, from desperate encounters with ferocious mutants to tactical firefights with human foes. How you approach dealing with hostiles is up to you. Metro supports both run and gun and stealth-based gameplay. Waiting until night to attack a bandit encampment sounds like a good idea. Snuff out the lights and take them down silently. Or stage a dawn assault and go in guns blazing.
I have a present for you here. A TR rifle. Ring any bells?
Combat is underpinned by a unique arsenal of deadly handmade weapons. Each gun is fully customizable, allowing the player to modify damage, range, handling, and accuracy by swapping out parts. Strip any weapon for upgrades and use those parts to switch your loadout on the fly. That revolver you found, why not fix a long barrel, a shoulder stock, and a scope to it? Now you've got a long-range weapon capable of picking enemies off at a distance. This system places a huge amount of tactical variety in the player's hands. The world of Metro Exodus has been handcrafted to reward player exploration. Every location you'll find has a story to tell, from a long-forgotten nuclear bunker to a tiny hamlet hiding dark secrets, to an ancient church transformed into something sinister. You won't find pointless fetch quests or busy work in Metro's vast open levels. Every objective is narrative-driven and woven seamlessly into the main story. We give you a map, a compass, and the freedom to think for yourselves. It's up to you to discover the hidden stories of the wasteland. In Metro Exodus, survival is everything. You'll be roaming the wilderness, battling mutated beasts, hostile factions, and the deadly environment itself. Artyom must hunt for resources, stripping corpses and searching interiors, while new crafting mechanics allow you to construct the gas mask filters and medkits needed to survive. Environmental hazards like anomalies and toxic zones, and dynamic weather including electrical storms, combine to create a dangerous world. Camps and outposts allow you to rest and replenish your strength, and offer more advanced crafting options. Dynamic day-night cycles transform the game world. Dare you venture out in the darkness where mutants are at their deadliest, or wait until daylight and risk meeting patrols of enemy factions. Artyom's incredible journey is made possible by the Aurora, a gigantic steam locomotive that acts as the player's home and base of operations. The Aurora will be your safe haven, a place to bond with distinctive characters or delve into the deep lore. Storytelling is at the heart of Exodus. Your decisions will have consequences on the story, depending on the way you choose to play. This is a world to get lost in. From the combat to exploration and survival, Metro Exodus is a singular, immersive experience. See you in the wasteland, Spartan.
The new world awaits. Let's get hunting.
Have fun. Don't die out there.
Hey, look.
What the heck is that? I've never seen anything like it. We've got it all here. Name's Geralt of Rivia, Witcher.
One more thing.
I won't let you down.
Our dominion grows. Perish. Nature will claim you.
I am not here to play. None shall fall while I still stand! Fight me!
That's enough. This should be advantageous. Interesting.
You'll never see me coming!
Greetings.
I'm gonna break you!
I made it myself. We could use this.
My next victim! Shall I play you a song?
Assez rapidement, on s'est dit quel est le genre de période qu'on voit pas si souvent dans le jeu vidéo, ou en tout cas qui nous permettrait de l'exprimer un peu différemment. Donc il se trouvait que c'était le Moyen-Âge. Nos héros visitent plusieurs univers plus ou moins durs. On a cette vie noble, seigneuriale. Derrière, on va avoir la réalité d'un champ de bataille, on va avoir la réalité d'un village du XIVe siècle, on va avoir l'Inquisition et sa structure hiérarchique.
He is with us.
Very good.
Ouais, au niveau des environnements, en fait, là encore, on a voulu rester le plus cru possible et se baser sur en fait une de nos forces en tant que Français, en tant que studio français et en plus basé à Bordeaux. Tous les jours, on marche dans des rues qui ont, pour certaines d'entre elles, été construites à l'époque du Moyen-Âge. Nous, on voulait rendre justice à cette architecture avec des rues sinueuses, des maisons pas droites, des choses rafistolées et avec des matériaux très simples.
La représentation principale qu'on a de ces villages, c'est typiquement des maisons à colombage avec des encorbellements. C'est le truc classique qu'on voit partout. Là, ce qu'on a essayé de faire justement, c'est de casser ça. On a plein d'exemples, encore une fois, de villages dans la région qui transpirent le Moyen-Âge d'une certaine manière, sans avoir tous ces archétypes assez convenus.
On a fait énormément de recherches dans ce sens-là pour donner vraiment la saveur, si je puis dire, le parfum de cette époque-là, que ce soit dans l'architecture, dans le rendu de l'univers, où, par exemple, on revenait très souvent à cette notion de, à l'époque, par exemple, les rues des villes étaient extrêmement sales, la saleté était partout, les notions d'hygiène n'étaient pas du tout celles d'aujourd'hui.
Au niveau de la lumière, de la même manière, on a pas mal travaillé à base de tableaux de maître pour essayer de récupérer cette espèce de lumière naturelle le plus possible, éviter d'avoir l'impression d'avoir un spot quelque part qui éclaire la scène, garder des sources de lumière très crues pour retrouver une touche à la Vermeer, par exemple, Bruegel, on pensait à ça aussi.
Claude Lorrain, par exemple, c'est un peintre du XVIe siècle. Il y a une couleur, il y a une tonalité dans ses peintures avec des ciels un peu orangés et doux qui apportent un romantisme en fait à l'image, une douceur, quelque chose d'un peu onirique qu'on voulait avoir dans notre jeu.
Ce que j'adore dans ce qu'on a fait jusqu'ici, en tout cas, c'est qu'en réalité, c'est très très proche de la vision initiale de ce qu'on voulait faire en termes de mood et de veine et de sentiments. On s'adresse à un type de joueur qui a envie de vivre ce type d'expérience. Et de ce fait, en réalité, on a une énorme liberté. Du coup, ça nous donne l'opportunité de faire un jeu encore plus proche de ce qu'on pense, en tout cas une partie des joueurs vont aimer et recherchent aujourd'hui. On a fait aussi un jeu auquel on aurait aimé jouer nous-mêmes, là où on se situe dans notre carrière.
For Honor came out almost 2 years ago already, so it's been hell of a ride in the past 2 years.
It has been too incredible, yeah. We've added 10 new characters since launch, 2 new game modes. We've changed the onboarding, the network structure.
So if somebody jumping into the game now, he is literally playing a different game. For year 3, with the Year of the Harbinger, we are doing things a little bit differently, and you can expect it to be a little bit more dark.
The Year of the Harbinger will come with 4 new seasons. At the beginning of each season, we will release a brand new hero. There's gonna be major events, new maps, new gear, ton of balancing and so on. There are rumors of a new cataclysm coming to the land of Forn. Amid that chaos, new warriors emerge. Paria, characters with a much heavier background seize the opportunity to rejoin their faction. Every season, there's going to be a major event.
And I think people will enjoy what we have planned for this year because we will remain mostly in the world of For Honor. We are going to inspire ourselves from the faction war.
So we will take specific moments of the metagame and tell the bigger story behind that and have the player fight and celebrate this moment. Balancing will continue to be the top priority for the game. We want to improve the offense, the reaction time, the revenge system, continue to fix targeting and character balancing, starting with the Shugoki, Lawbringer, and continuing with Warlord, Peacekeeper, and so on.
The mindset of the team is to keep supporting that game, keep pushing its boundaries, keep offering new content, and being as engaged as we can to make For Honor a long-term success.
Inhale and reach for the sky.